Hey, sir. Oh, it's how.
For almost 3 months.
Yeah, I'm not sure what.
It's 2 different backers.
I should step in. No.
No. Oh, yeah, so that. Oh, that was all the other race.
I didn't even know what was on. All I saw was a draft. So, I'll get you guys going. We'll get through the first one. Actually, Mark thinks we're going to make actually, it's the fourth carry or states?
Feels like it. Because of the name of this account.
Yes. Well, we haven't been here that much.
3 every month.
No, we were not.
What month did we have a meeting? I guess we won't.
We canceled that.
What we got?
I'm not sticking up for them. I agree with you.
I still feel like you did.
We were having articles in the school.
We were here.
Well written.
No, this is
They're probably going to be
have cameras in
well, we are. We're trying to
we're trying to the long story. We're next 4 or 6 months. I took some pictures. It's a long story.
It's very interesting.
It is interesting. My father's
Good job.
I changed the work.
I see it. I'm totally aware of everything.
Frank,
I'm aware of everything. And everybody.
I mean, I wanted to.
Please stand for a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just put 4 burgers, penny up to extra 5 chips. When it started, I had no idea. Not sure I had to figure it out. You don't know that, but I couldn't figure it out. There was nothing, no guide, something from 55. Yeah, so I bought a bunch, I had like 12 of them. I used they're wrong. Too big, too small.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This meeting is now called to order. Borough of Seabright, in compliance with the Public Open Meeting Act, has provided adequate notice of the time, date, and location of this meeting to the Asbury Park Press, filed notice with the borough offices clerk, the borough clerk, and posted notice in the borough office. I already said that. And on the borough website.
There you go.
Meeting's open to the public, and we welcome you all. Welcome.
Welcome.
We were welcome. I
Okay.
know that. Everybody's rushing me tonight. Jeez.
Councilman Bieber.
Wait till you see what happens next.
Ms. Bills. Here. Mr. Cashmore.
Here.
Chairman Cunningham.
Here.
Mr. Giulio.
Here.
Vice Chairman DeSeo.
Here.
Mayor Kelly. Absent. Mr. Lawrence.
Here.
Mr. Lexstein.
Here.
Mr. Schwartz.
Here.
Mr. Zelina.
Here.
On to the minutes. August 22nd. The closed session minutes, anybody?
I'll move that we,
Okay, so yeah, you have to do
approve
two.
the,
Resolutions. Unless you're allowed to do them together, I don't know.
No.
Okay.
I'll second.
You made a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Frank.
Okay.
Okay.
You have such similar voices. Can we have a roll call, please?
Okay, Ms. Bills?
Yes.
Mr. Cashmore? Chairman Cunningham?
Yes.
Mr. Julio?
Yes.
Vice Chairman DeSeo?
I wasn't present.
Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Mr. Lexstein?
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz? Mr. Zelina?
Yes. So, I don't have a second set of minutes.
I don't think I put them together, but if they,
Okay.
yeah,
So,
we do have to do them.
you have to do them separate.
Oh, yeah, closed. I mean, I just kind of stuck it in there.
Okay, on to the minutes of the closed session, the executive session, let's call it that. Minutes from the 22nd of August. Any discussion about the minutes? They were Irwin's baby. Do we have a motion to accept them?
I'll move
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Bills?
Yes.
Mr. Cashmore?
Yes.
Chairman Cunningham?
Yes.
Mr. Julio?
Yes.
Vice Chairman DeSeo? Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Mr. Lexstein?
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz? And Mr. Zelina?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to the memorialization of the resolution, application number 2023-05, Gerard Uzi, 11 Center Street.
Mr. Chairman, the resolution, I reviewed it, I'm fine with it then. The only thing I would suggest that maybe want to add is special condition about the deed restriction. I don't know that our zoning office is going to be used to that type of thing, even though I think it's the appropriate thing to do. I think you should have language that has to be reviewed and approved by you. Okay, because they won't know to do that unless it's actually in there.
Okay.
And with that change, Mr. Chairman, I will move that resolution.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Okay, Ms. Bills?
Yes.
Chairman Cunningham?
Yes.
Mr. Julio?
Yes.
We have Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Mr. Lexstein?
Yes.
And Mr. Zelina?
Yes.
I'm going to just skip ahead to the 16 Via Ripa, because we've been asked to carry it again, and I know we have some discussion about it. Mark, you were interested in.
Yes.
We were asked to carry it another, actually until the 24th of October?
Yes.
26th, something.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, it's been over 6 months since we originally heard that application, and I think at this point, being there were public interest in the application to begin with, that any carrying of that application be with notice.
Beyond the one where they request.
Yes, no.
Starting
now?
Starting
Starting
tonight.
now.
That will grant.
Well, we were concerned about it at the last meeting that we carried it.
Right.
Especially since they've changed it.
Yeah.
They may need to renotice anyway, but I want to make sure in case they think they don't need to renotice, that they have to renotice.
I don't disagree, no. I don't disagree. It's been a long time, and I think it's really all about whether it's two-family or not. And they're trying to do research on that property, and it doesn't, I was,
I mean, we're not gonna, let's not get into the merits of the application.
yeah,
but-
I am not gonna.
But I think for the benefit of the people, which the notice is for, they have a right to know that the application's actually not done yet, and that they have a right to be heard. So
I don't disagree. So.
Yeah, I would make a motion to carry the application with further notice.
Any discussion?
No.
Well, somebody's got to notify them. Okay, then I'll second that.
Well, let's have a roll call, please, on the motion.
No.
Let's see.
It's all in money.
Can I ask before we vote?
Oh, hang on, Steve.
The motion is to amend their application to
No.
provide notice?
No, the motion is just to carry, they were on for tonight. Yes. They've asked for an adjournment. The motion is just to grant that adjournment to the October 26th meeting? 24th meeting. But that between now and the 24th, that they will provide notice.
That's going to be a requirement, so we wrote,
Correct.
yes, that includes the requirement
Correct.
to provide notice.
Correct.
That's the only.
That's the only thing we're doing.
Well, right, but I didn't know if they had to deny this and then they had to.
No, we're not denying it.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, Ms. Bills?
Yes.
Chairman Cunningham?
Yes.
Mr. Cashman?
Yes.
Mr. Julia?
Yes.
Ms. Chairman DeSalle?
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Mr. Lexstein?
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz?
Yes.
Mr. Zelina?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to the Armin Katstorian, 48 Normandy Place. I feel obligated to step down on this one since he is a regular customer at my home. I wish him the best of luck.
I'll just stay here as long as we move on. I'll just stay here.
Hi, good evening. I'm John Sardo, attorney for the applicant from the law firm Giordano, Allen and Cecil. And with me is the applicant, Armin Katstorian. Do you want me to get right into it? Do you-
Sure, yeah, you can go ahead. The notices were reviewed and are appropriate. We have jurisdiction to move forward. And we'll turn it over to you for an opening statement and then call and we'll go.
Sure, so the property is located 48 Normandy Place. That's in the R2 residential zone. We were here about a year and a half ago for approvals to construct the residence. We needed some variances from for an undersized lot and some of the lot dimensions. The board granted that approval by resolution approved in March of 2022. The home has since been constructed, and in the course of closing out building permits, it was identified that there was some pavers along the side of the home that weren't on the approved plan from March of 2022, which slightly changed the impervious coverage calculation, as well as caused a deviation. These pavers, it's a very narrow lot, so they're within 3 feet of the adjacent property line, which also is a variance. So we're here tonight seeking variance for increased impervious coverage and to permit the pavers within the 3 foot of the property line. And I apologize, we don't have an easel. I have some handouts if you don't have the plans, but do you want to let me know if you have those in front of you? Or?
We have everybody have,
Okay.
and we have the picture also.
Okay, perfect. So that's my kind of introduction here.
Okay, are you gonna call any witnesses or just the owner?
Just the owner.
If you could, please raise your right hand to be sworn. You swear the testimony you are to give here tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
If you could, please state your name and spell your last for the record.
Armin Katstorian, it's Khachaturan. And for the purpose of the record, you're a civil engineer, correct?
Electrical engineer.
An electrical engineer, okay? But does your firm do only
I guess I was an excuse if I was a civil engineer.
Okay. Wait.
That's better that way. No, electrical engineer.
Okay.
My firm is electrical, mechanical, plumbing, and fire protection.
Gotcha. Well, he's convinced me through our discussions that I've always presumed he might have had a P as well, so.
That would have helped.
What is the year from? If you don't mind asking.
Tex Turner and KEA Engineers. We've actually done work in town. The building across the street is one that we've designed. We're electrical, mechanical, plumbing, and fire protection. We work with a lot of engineers, architects, developers, owners.
I'm a mechanical contractor.
Oh,
Are you soliciting bids?
No, I just want to know if I recognize the name of the firm you work on.
Yeah.
I thought to let you know why I asked the question.
Yeah, KEA Engineers. We're in Islip. We have about 55 engineers.
Okay, let's move on to this application. now.
Sure. And
Right.
so, since this is part of, you want to mark this as A1 or?
Yeah, we'll make the plan A1.
And that is the final as-built survey prepared by Chuck Lindstrom, last revised August 18th, 2023. Okay. And I guess, Mr. Tectorium, I guess will you just point out and walk through the location of where the pavers are and just explain to the board how you ended up here and what we're asking.
Yeah. If you don't mind, I'd like to take a couple of minutes to tell you about the history of the family and Seabright. We've been resident, my family has been residents here since 1943. That's for 80 years in town. My wife's great aunt bought it in 1843. Her parents bought it in 65, and we bought it from them in 92. My son and grandchildren have no intention of selling our properties in Seabright. We love Seabright. We love the place where we are. We have always looked at the property next door. We own the home just adjacent to it. We've always looked at this property next door, and every time it sold, I kept saying to myself, I should be buying it, but never did. We always had nice neighbors. In 2005, at the peak of the residential market, a developer, an investor from Staten Island bought it thinking he was going to flip it. He didn't flip it. 2009, 2008, 9, bottom fell out of the economy, and 2012, Sandy hit. When Sandy hit, the place went vacant for close to 8 years, and there were animals living in the house, and all the neighbors were complaining, weeds growing everywhere. So the borough finally made the owner tear the house down. So it became a vacant property, and then I had told him I'm interested in buying. He never contacted me. He went and listed the property, so I ended up buying it from him. That's the long and the short of it. And I came here. The board granted me the variances to build the house that I've built, and I think we've built a beautiful home. I have two pictures. One is the street view, and one is the river view. It's the house in the middle. I'd like to pass it around and you can say that.
If we could mark we're going to mark each
Exhibit
photo A2.
A2 and A3. So that we were at the very closure of construction, finishing up, and we deviated a little bit in the driveway. The plans were for pavers to go all the way to the street, and we like the look of pebbles as opposed to really hard surface driveway. So we eliminated a bunch of the paver area, and I didn't know, this is my ignorance and it's not an excuse, but I didn't know that pebbles are even considered impervious. That's what Mary Tangoli
If it's utilized as a driveway, yes.
Yeah, so I thought I was swapping pavers from there to the side of the house, and the square footage of what I was putting on the side of the house was less than what was approved in the driveway, so I went ahead and did it without giving it a second thought. You know, the contractors are there, you've got momentum going, you're trying to get everything done and cleaned up. That little 3-foot piece of property, which is nothing but weeds coming up And it was a constant headache, and it's not an area that we're gonna do anything with it, and I don't intend to do anything with it. It's just the pavers makes it a lot cleaner, nicer, and it's not unlike most of my neighbors. Most everyone has done something in their little setback areas.
What was it originally approved for? Gravel?
It was approved as stone,
Stone.
and I don't know whether that's considered impervious.
Stone is actually pervious when not utilized as a driveway. I didn't make the rules.
They don't drive on it, it doesn't compact, and more water can flow through it.
Right.
Yeah, but we live on sand, and there's nothing, no water ever sits anywhere. All the water that comes off the roofs and everything else just disappears and as soon as it gets there. Our only water problem is when the river rises, as you all know.
But I just add too, you have a riparian lot
Yeah, we have a riparian lot.
which has 1,750 square feet of upland. So you have dry sand in the back that's not calculated in the bulk standard in the table. So technically, where we're saying we have 74.4% coverage, it doesn't include an extra 1,700 plus square feet of dry land, which is something that we explained and discussed with the board when we were here last.
I think the issue that's coming before us tonight is the fact that since it's a solid surface,
Yeah.
the water has no place to go. And if you look at the elevations that came out on your survey, it's actually a little higher in the front at 4.9. In the middle is 4.8, so it actually drops down a little. And then all the way in the back, it's back to 4'9". And if you look at the neighbor next door, it's 4.5. So the water's gonna stay in the middle of this whole run. And if anywhere to go, it's gonna go to the next door neighbor. So, I think that's the issue for me. I don't know if anybody else has recognized that, but.
Can I just, both of these houses are your houses?
No,
Which one is which?
the one to the right, like you look at the picture, the blue is my neighbor's house.
Here.
So who is the neighbor's house? This is the house you just.
Yeah, actually, my neighbor happens to be here.
So, Mr. Lexstein, I guess, lot 24 is yours, so it's the lot
23 is mine.
23 and the one immediately to the south, 24, correct?
Correct.
And then your neighbor is the lot to the north, lot 22.
Right.
Okay.
And I think what we're talking about was lot 22, the neighbor immediately.
The neighbor's here.
Yeah.
So I would have some questions more for the neighbor, who's there. And I don't know.
Well, that's what my description was, the fact that the water that would collect in the middle of the whole lane. We would only have one way to escape, which would be toward the neighbor, which is not actually fair.
Yeah. But Dave, the only thing I'm asking, I would disagree.
And it's a beautiful sidewalk, it's terrible to say anything bad about it.
Yeah, I don't disagree with anything you say, but my point is that the neighbor's here, and it's their house, and they're the one that they would know the real world conditions of what's going on, and we've got some pretty dreadful things, basically.
Yeah, the last 48
Yeah, so it's like real-time evidence of what's going on. It's like, well, I don't know if we want to hear from them, because that's really like the heart of the entire matter. If you don't object.
I have no objection to that.
Because that's really the heart of the matter.
But on the other hand, that doesn't mean they're gonna live there forever.
I understand, but they can always tell us what's happening. If there's a problem. If there's a problem.
Okay, all right, well, you want to continue with your testimony?
No, that's really all that I have to say.
I'll make them.
And I'm asking the board to.
Mr. Chairman, can I just say something? The only item in my letter really was stormwater. And so I was concerned with the roof leaders and where they go. Maybe you can tell us that.
Yeah, I have leaders and gutters.
It looks like it's a pipe, but where does that pipe go?
It's underground.
To the street?
It's a 10-foot perforated pipe that we installed underground.
You put a dry well in. So it goes into a dry well, that then goes into the soil?
So it just circulates itself?
We have no water standing there.
Okay, and what do you think goes on with the water that Dave was talking about that's in the center there? Because it could enter underneath the siding of that house next door and cause damage.
Nothing goes towards next door. If it's a really heavy downpour, if you go out there during the downpour, it pulls a little bit against my house towards the river, but within an hour it's gone.
Would you be
It
willing?
doesn't, I know what these numbers say, but it doesn't go toward the neighbor's house.
Would you be interested in possibly maybe installing like a zipper drain of some kind in there to have it connect and percolate underneath?
Well, if you go to the driveway that you have, how far away is that driveway? Where is that driveway?
There's three of them on the north side. They're just 1, 2, 3 along the entire property. It shows, does it show the downspouts?
So they're out of the downspout?
Yeah, they're at the downspout of the,
Because you could put a small inlet in, little yard inlet.
You could cut a zipper drain in there. It's very simple to cut with a concrete saw, just lay it in.
Yep, and have it go into that same,
Yeah.
driveway.
yeah, there's two on the north side. There's 3, I believe, on the south side, but there's 2 on the north side. And there's one at the very end and one close to where the deck starts, right at the edge of where the deck starts. And they both go underground. They both go underground, and it's effectively a dry well type of a thing where the pipe connects to a 4-inch perforated pipe, 10 feet long. So,
It's more like so it's a pipe drain is what it is. It's a pipe drain.
right.
Okay, so
So would you be willing to, like the chairman's saying, and putting a drain into the pavers to
Yeah.
allow, you would?
Yeah.
Okay.
If we can show that water gathers there, I will put a drain there, but
It's
it
always
doesn't make sense.
it's always been the policy of the town is to have the residents maintain their own water.
Right.
You're not allowed to spill lightage over, you're not allowed to spill water over it, you must maintain it and control it on your own property.
Right.
So, I think if Dave agrees, a zipper drain would probably help if it,
it would work.
so it wouldn't puddle in that area where you're talking about.
But so it wouldn't be conditioned upon us showing that it pools. You would have to put it in the drain.
Yeah, put it in.
Regardless.
That's fine.
Okay.
They make plastic drains that are an inch wide.
Right.
And you saw cut,
Yeah,
and then you end it in the pipe that's there.
right.
So it'd be minimal, work.
Okay.
There's another question.
Is there anybody else on the board that has any questions of that or any comment on that suggestion?
I just don't know where it is on this picture. The different, right.
So here's one downspout, and here's one downspout here, and you can see these little things here, that's the house into one.
Can we just get clarification? Sorry. Can we get clarification? Are these that you have questions? We're just confused what we're looking at.
Can you open back up?
Yeah. Is it these? Okay.
It's this picture.
And then the back, yeah.
That's my house.
Okay.
You don't have.
Hold on 1 second, if we could, only because none of this is getting on the record. So why don't we show the witness A2 and A3 so he can clarify his house and the neighbor's house.
Okay. So this is, so then, yeah, we can clarify, what we're gonna say is the tan house
Yes,
is with the red porch.
correct.
That's your house.
That's the house that we're
And the
talking
blue house next door
about. Is my neighbor.
is the neighbor who's here.
Right.
Okay. Is that up? Okay, thank you.
And the house is formerly yours.
I think it still is.
Still is, still is.
Okay, you kept that house in the shop.
I'm sorry?
You have both of them now.
Yeah, well, my son has moved into the other house.
And there's no problem with any drainage or any problems with that house.
No, I've done the same thing there, I've got gutters, leaders and gutters, and I've brought everything down under. So both houses are, no problem with water.
Sidewalk effects and all.
No, it doesn't.
That's the application.
It was a good question, Alex. Sorry. So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to open it to the public if no one else has any questions.
Well, do you have somebody as a witness then or not?
No,
No. So if there's no other, anybody else have a question at this point, we'll open it to the public?
That's it for the public.
So we'll open it to the public. If anybody in the public has a comment or statement, or I would, please stand and state your name and.
We just need to come
Come
up.
on up and be sworn in. Please raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you swear the testimony you are to give here tonight to be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
And please state your name, spell your last.
My name is George Logan, Logan.
And what's your address?
42 Normandy. I'm the house north of Warren,
You're the blue house.
the blue house. So what I can attest is, I watched the process, and for some background, I'm a builder also, and I've done multiple projects here in Seabright also. And when Armin put them down, I was pleased. Neighbors were pleased. They're beautiful. They flow in the right direction. The elevation is correct. And I believe back in April, we had, or maybe a little later, we had a 25-year rain event. It just percolated and went where it's supposed to go. I've never had water violate my side. And we've had a tremendous amount of rain lately. And before that was happening, the brush was rough. Like Armin said, the house was vacant. It was horrible. Rodents were a problem. Just the passage of it alone was a problem. And I've watched Armin do the drainage, the proper base, so the pavers do percolate, and I have not experienced a problem. And someone mentioned, and I don't recall, but there is a slight so that the water does go. You know, so like, and again, getting back to the elevations, sometimes those numbers, you know, they can be what they are, but the fact of the matter is, we do not have a problem. And I am here to support him.
So you don't even think what we propose?
Even the drain, no disrespect to anybody, you know, I'm like you, Dave, I'm doing this 35 years and this is not a problem.
So we don't need a drain in your opinion?
In my opinion, we don't. And I just can't see cutting a perfectly good-looking product if there's no reason to do that.
Bill, the drains aren't too bad looking, they're only like.
I can do like say, I'd be the first to tell you if I felt like we needed it.
Well, the survey shows that it is, did you look at the numbers on the survey? It shows that the center is.
I didn't because I'm looking at the slab, and his slab and my slab, and I'm looking at the pavers that are below both.
It's only, can you look at the survey?
Yes.
Can you see yourself?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the rear of the property, it gives an elevation of
I heard it on
4.96.
Yep.
And then you go to the center, it shows 4.88. And then if you go to your side of the property, it shows 4.5. And then you come to the front of the property, we're back up to 4.9. So it's showing that the center is only maybe an inch low.
I hear you.
And those pitch to your house also.
I'm not experiencing that, is all I can say. And you know, these numbers can be a little de minimis, and maybe they're not, you know, it's all field work. But I'm just saying it functions, and I don't have a problem.
What did you say? You said the construction of the pavers were, so they're sitting on stone dust?
The stone dust.
Okay, and they're not concreted in, right? There's
Absolutely.
sand between them.
Absolutely.
No,
Okay.
that's not right.
That's not sand?
That's
It's an orange.
New product we put in there that turns to concrete practically.
It's like a polymetric dust, yeah.
Oh, so it becomes hard.
Not pervious anymore.
It looked like pink concrete.
I think the zipper drain there would be, would fit fine there without being overwhelming, and I think it would serve a purpose. That's my opinion.
Mark, what do you, Mark?
Okay.
First of all, where are you going to locate the drain? And aren't these pavers subject to some settlement? So no matter where you put the drain, you don't know that you're going to collect the water from one year to the next. So I don't think it's necessary personally. I think based on the testimony we hear this evening, I think it's adequate as presented, as person.
All right.
I just think it's a hard thing to say, how are you going to, what spot in this sidewalk are you going to say is a low
Based
point?
on the elevations of the survey, it shows the middle is low.
Put it at the low point, yeah.
You put it
Today,
low.
what's it going to be tomorrow with these pavers settled on? They're set on sand.
Yeah, we're only talking an inch or whatever,
Yeah.
back and forth.
The whole thing, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I can tell you, even if there was an inch sitting there, sorry to interject, but it's not there for any time by the time you come out of your house, or the wind blows it away. There's nothing standing.
So, Mr. Logan, you've never had water damage on your first floor there?
No.
What's that, a garage?
Yeah, call it a garage or basement on grade.
You've never seen water come in?
No.
What's the material that's on the side of the face of the wall?
On my exterior,
Yeah.
it is a green CDX plywood. and with a board and batten vinyl over top of it.
So it is
My-
wood.
And my
It is wood,
interior
but it's-
walls are spray foamed,
Okay.
yeah,
But his slab
is above
is above,
the paper.
How much higher than the paper?
3 inches above.
Because I can't tell that.
Yeah, Armin's probably about 4 and I'm about 3, so
Okay, so you're saying there's sort of a channel in there where the water can't get either way?
that's basically what I'm
It
trying
all
to say.
goes towards the river.
Well, except for that inch or whatever.
Yeah, there's a one,
And you're saying that evaporates?
a sandy beach.
It doesn't last very long. I mean, I know it's supposed to be impervious,
You guys.
but it's not impervious.
I depend on, the last 2 projects I had, they had me putting permeable pavers, which are totally open, with elaborate stone systems.
Pervious pavers, yeah.
And to have everything percolate in the ground, I think is a good idea, but I mean,
Well, I mean, the other way to do it is to just take 2 pavers out and find a plastic drain that fits in that hole.
Okay, do you,
And it's nice and simple.
I mean, we have relied on you. I mean, I know, I'm a lawyer, what the hell do I know?
Well, I mean, it's got a pond, and probably it's all gone in 4 hours if the sun's out. That sound right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to do something.
I've never seen it last 4 hours,
Do something.
You haven't seen
We got too many engineers
I
now.
haven't seen.
I do not want to.
I'm joking, Mark. Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with just letting it alone. Because it seems like it goes away. I mean,
We have a neighbor sitting here saying he doesn't have a problem.
and
Yeah.
here's the idea, anything higher than an inch will get to the river or to the street. Anything lower than that, it has to evaporate or sink in. So it's really not much.
But in the winter, that 1 inch in the middle will freeze also.
It
It's up to you.
It becomes a skating
I
park.
depend on you to make that.
becomes a skating park. I mean, from a liability standpoint, then you go back to the voters. It would be better to put a small drain in. You know, like I said, you could probably find
The insignificant.
on the internet a small drain that's the size of
The size of the
a little
paper.
square.
Sure.
And you don't even have to put anything under it. You just break the bottom of it.
Yes.
That's a simple solution.
That's my
That's it.
suggestion.
Yeah.
Mark, what do you think of that? Works?
Are you looking to do that?
If I find a low spot, next big rain, and remove a couple of the pavers.
There you go, put the drain right there.
Yeah, but we can't base an approval on if you find a low spot.
You either have to do it or you don't.
Is the public portion still open?
You could run a couple string lines.
Okay, we didn't close the public portion.
Say something about that
We're
area.
relying on a friendly discussion.
I'd like to just say,
Nobody said it.
Armin, the applicant will agrees to locate it and for approval by Mr. Hodder so that you'll know where it's located.
They make
It's not
small
in-
yard drains that are
Yeah.
6 by 6 or whatever. Very simple.
You'll never even notice it.
Just take a saw, cut it back out.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you for your comment.
Thank you all.
Is there anybody else in the public that has a comment or?
I'm not just saying now, we got told not to. The only thing I would say is that it's just all beach there. It's all beach.
It's all being said.
It's not bulkhead.
No, but it needs to get to the sand. This is solid. So, all right, we'll close the public portion. Is there any further discussion or motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the application with the condition that what they said about the drain, and,
Remove 2 pavers, put in a small plastic drain, cut the back out, let it run to the sand.
Yeah, that's what I would suggest also.
and the location to be approved by Dave.
That's fine.
I second the motion.
We have a roll call?
Okay, Ms. Bills?
Yes.
Mr. Cashmore?
Yes.
Mr. Julio?
Yes.
Vice Chairman DeSeo?
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Mr. Lexstein?
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz?
Yes.
Mr. Selena?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
All right, congratulations. You built a beautiful place and a beautiful sidewalk too, so.
It really is.
Thank you.
We got short.
All right, Lance, you want to come up? You want to come up and close it?
I think you might as well close it up. We have other business? I don't think we have other business.
No, we don't have any other business before the board tonight. Does anybody have anything they want to discuss?
I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
That'll be that thing.
Yeah.